On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation, I welcome you to our annual meeting. And we'll begin with the officer reports. Gail?
Madam Chairman, I would like to announce that we do have a quorum present, both in person and by proxy, cards submitted. So we are legal to go ahead with the meeting. And second, I would like to ask for approval of the minutes of the 2011 annual meeting, which have been distributed earlier. Is there a motion to approve? A second? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, the motion is approved. The final item on my part of the agenda is for consideration of the amendments to the bylaws, which are printed on the back of your minutes that were distributed. These were also announced in the announcement of the meeting. I would first ask whether there are any questions. I'm not going to read them all again. I should say that the board has been reviewing a number of issues that had become outdated by procedure and practice. Okay. If there are not any questions, I would take a motion to approve the amendments to the bylaws to Articles 4, 9, and 10 as distributed earlier and printed on the back of the minutes. May I have a motion, please? Okay. Is there a second? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. The motion is approved and the amendments are approved.
Thank you, Gail. Now the highlight of every annual meeting, the treasurer's report. I'll try to keep my remarks to under 30 minutes. Anyway, I think if you want to follow along, you all have a playbook. This was a very successful year for the foundation financially, in addition to being successful on many fronts. Our balance sheet has strengthened substantially to the tune of over $58,000. Some of the highlights through the year: membership up, general contributions up substantially. You'll hear more about that later. Programs and publications are up substantially, up over $21,000, and that's related to the fact that we had multiple fundraisers last year. You probably remember our home tour and garden tour, and we also opened our holiday party to non-members, and we were able to secure some admission revenue that way. Overall, our income for the year was up over $83,000. Now, to make money, sometimes we have to spend a little money, so you'll also note that our operating expenses were up about $7,000, and our total expenses were up about $18,000. It's interesting to note, as you all have heard, that there is no inflation, but yet when I look at our rent, our accounting and insurance, and our office, telephone, and miscellaneous expense, I do see, and professional fees, I see some evidence of inflation. But overall, it was a great year for the foundation. Net income of over $62,000, representing an increase of $65,000 versus last year. Thank you. Any questions? I didn't think so. And so next on our program is Jan Gibson with a membership report.
Hi. As our beloved former board member Priscilla Billington used to say, and probably still does, everyone in Lake Forest should be a member. And it's the best deal in town, by the way. No truer words have been spoken. All of us who love Lake Forest, not as a zip code, but for its beauty, its history, and its historic visual character, we all believe this. We are pleased and so gratified that you are a member, and this membership enables us to support our mission. And it also allows us to enjoy others who also believe in preservation. Currently, we have 469 members, 31 short of a personal goal that I had, but still we have members, and we have you. Thank you for supporting us for this year, and we hope you support us for many years in the future. Thank you. And our next person is Dennis. Dennis Johnston, Programs.
Thank you, Jen. As program director, we started out last year with, and Jan had been program director, we started out, and I see a lot of familiar faces, so I know you've been on almost every event we've had. But we started out with the Founders Tour at the last annual meeting. That was a resounding success. Soon after that, and I just want to run through the whole list because we had a very strong program year, and it was incredible to us. But we had the tour of the Ramsey Estate on Illinois Road for the gardens. There was a recreation of by the Daramides of the Jens Jensen Gardens, and absolutely spectacular for a spring, a nice spring day. We were in a third fun fair in the summer, which is getting more and more acceptance, more interest. Art Miller set us up with an authors program that talked about Henry Ives Cobb as an architect. We went to the Ferry Hall Chapel, which is now a personal residence, a beautiful place. The Redfields had the first of the wine tours, which looks like it's going to be a long and continuing series of events. So and we had a record number there as well. And pretty much, I think the final thing we could say is we had a holiday party at the Schweppe Mansion or house, which was on one of our next newsletter back then. And that, for a holiday party, we had received I think over 300 showed up. And in this house, you didn't even rub elbows. There was so much room. So it's still for sale, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward. Jan will be taking over as program director. I get the exciting job of treasurer, so thank you so much. Turn it back to Lynn Dito.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dennis. I also had the honor this year and privilege to serve as the chair of the nominating committee, and I would like to thank my committee, Pauline Moore, Guya Trutter, Elizabeth Moore, and Deborah O'Malley, who served with me on this committee and did what I feel is very important work for our foundation in putting in place, the leaders for tomorrow. I'd like to announce the directors that are joining us for the class of 2015. A lot of familiar names here, but one new name. So joining us, and maybe you can stand when I say your name. Jan Gibson, Jerry Henry, Dennis Johnston, Rami Lopat, Alice Moult-Neely, Bruce Southward, and joining us new this year, Maureen Grinnell. Agreeing again to serve as president, Suzanne Bourne. Serving as the vice president of development, and I thought one of the advantages of being on the nominating committee was you wouldn't be nominated, but it looks like I was remiss here. Len Dito. Vice president of programs, Jan Gibson. Secretary, Gail has agreed to serve again. Thank you, Gail. And treasurer, Dennis Johnston. So now I would like to place both the officer slate and the new directors before you for your approval. May I have a motion? A second? I'd like to hold the election now. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations. And now it's my pleasure to reintroduce our new president, Suzanne Bourne, who will give us her presidential remarks and some insights into this year and what we have to look forward to next year. Suzanne.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. And this 2011-2012 was a really successful year for the Preservation Foundation. And most notably was our work with the city on behalf of the East Train Station. We gave the city a gift of $50,000 in the form of a historic report, a structure report, and great assistance in grant writing by Gail Hodges. And that combination enabled the city to receive a grant of $850,000. In conjunction with Metra and the grant and the city's money, the multiple, as our treasurer likes to point out, was 20-fold on our dollars spent, in that we had $1.2 million in project funding from that gift. So I know Len is always good about pointing out our financial results to us, and that's significant. We'll also continue along that effort in a parallel effort with the city and the ITEP grant writing, and that is the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program. We had a meeting with the city this week, and we will work with them on a grant for portions of the interior that are not funded. So we're optimistic there, cautiously optimistic, but that will be a major focus for us as well. And Mrs. Wheeler, you're in the audience. Will you please stand so people can see you? We wish to acknowledge a very generous gift from the estate of Mr. Henry Wheeler to the foundation this year. And Mrs. Wheeler is here today to honor her husband, so thank you very much. Mr. Wheeler was a civic leader, a preservationist, and a past president of the foundation, so maybe you'll have a chance to chat with her later on today. We hope you'll mark your calendar for May 18th from 5:30 to 7:30. It's a Friday evening, and we'll have a wine stroll and an open house at the Ragdale House. And to celebrate with the Ragdale people the superb renovation of the Ragdale House, restoration and renovation, and they're here to join us today. Our direction for 2012 and 2013 will be to focus on the unique character of our East Lake Forest historic district, and our other 3 districts. When we look at the East Lake Forest District, there are 850 homes and sites there, and 600 of those are contributing structures. So you'll see a focus in both our programs and our publications coming out. We thank you to the dedicated members of this board and the past officers. The people that are retiring from the board this year are Cynthia Leahy and Linda Medema, who are not with us today, and John Litchfield. John, will you please stand? Thank you. Without the work of these dedicated officers and board members for the past 36 years, we wouldn't be where we are today. And also from the dedication of our terrific executive director, Marcy Kerr. And Marcy is, I think she has moved back to our home, 275 Mayflower, the Mosaic House, and the Burts are generously opening this home for our reception today, so we want to thank them as well. At this time, this concludes the business part of our meeting. Is there a motion for adjournment? Second? Second. We'll adjourn the meeting, and we will welcome John Litchfield and Steve Douglas to present our award recipients for 2012.
Welcome to our annual award presentation, where we honor the award recipients who join the ranks of previous 160 recipients whose homes, gardens, public buildings, and outdoor spaces exemplify excellence in historic preservation. All of these award recipients are stewards of the distinctive architecture, history, and cultural heritage that make Lake Forest so unique. Here you see our 4 award categories. Preservation focuses on the maintenance and repair of historic materials and retention of a property's form as it evolved over time. Restoration and rehabilitation restore a property to how it was at a particular time in history, while acknowledging the need for alterations or additions to meet the requirements of changing use. New construction infill creates new structures that are sympathetic to and in harmony with neighboring historic properties or the historic district. And finally, renovation involves restoration to a former better state, as by repairing or rebuilding. So our first awards are for preservation. First, we have Howard Van Doren Shaw's 1909 Glen Rowan House, where Craig Bergman undertook the restoration of the oldest continuously operating terrace-based fountain and reflecting pool for Lake Forest College. This involved not only the pool itself, but also the fountain, the terrace, and surrounding plantings, all with marvelous results, as you can see. Next, we have 420 East Woodland Road. Hard to see in the picture, but this was originally two 19th century cottages that were joined and then later added to with a two-story addition to the east. Here, the Moulton Ely's have repaired and repainted all the wood windows. They've made new cypress storm windows and storms for all the windows. They disassembled, repaired, repainted, and then reassembled all the shutters and made many, many interior improvements as well. Our third preservation award goes to 971 Verda Lane, designed by Stanley Anderson in 1928 and originally the home of the architect. The Opsitniks are just the third family to live here, and they have painstakingly preserved the original charm and character with extensive roof work, custom siding at the gables, custom wood storm windows, preservation of the original front door, shutters, screen doors, and screen porches. Add to that extensive interior work, and you see the beautiful results in this picture. Will the recipients of preservation awards please step forward along with their architects? Now let's proceed to restoration and rehabilitation properties. First, we have the gardens and associated secondary structures to David Adler's 1931 Kersey Coates Reed House at 1310 Lake Road. Owners, Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Bent, have restored the tennis house, the gardener's cottage and barn, and they retained Craig Bergman to completely restore and reconstruct the gardens. Next is 371 Summit, where this 20th century home had been converted into a 3-flat and allowed to decay. The O'Malleys retained landmark development to rehabilitate the home to its original single-family use while restoring its historic character with the addition of shutters and replacement of some incompatible windows. Last in this category is 74 Woodland Road, an early 1900s bungalow cottage creatively rehabilitated in harmony with the neighborhood. Here, the Randolphs have created new living space where the garage once stood, thereby enhancing the home's presentation to the street. So now will the recipients of Restoration and Rehabilitation Awards please step forward with their architects. We now proceed to the awards for newly constructed infill. At 925 Acorn Trail, this new Georgian-style home honors the architecture of its notable neighbors, the Ellowa Farm Gatehouses and Coach House. Designed by Mellicar Architects, the style of the home, brick color, massing, and forms all relate to the gatehouses to the south, making this a great example of successful infill construction. Current owners are Chris and Kathy Ramsey. 1045 Walden Road is an elegant Tuscan villa designed by David Polton and Sharon Harvey in collaboration with their clients, the Krebs. From authentic construction techniques, materials, finishes, and craftsmanship, to the magnificent statues and fountains from Italy, This unique infill project is a result of research trips to Italy as well as sensitivity to other homes in the surrounding historic district. The tradition of a folly or gazebo as a garden retreat goes back to the gardens of ancient Rome. In New England, where summers are short, this holds great appeal. The most exquisite example to survive from the 18th century is the Derby Summer House, designed by the great Salem, Massachusetts carver and architect Samuel McIntyre for Captain Elias Haskett Derby at his summer farm in Danvers, Massachusetts in 1793. Here in Lake Forest at 788 East Woodland Road, Mr. and Mrs. John Crow have created a full-scale replica of the Derby Summer House with the assistance of Chicago architectural firm Liederbach and Graham. The folly overlooks their garden pool and is most certainly a wonderful infill addition to the neighborhood. Will the recipients of infill awards and their architects please come forward? Now let's move on to renovated properties. At 910 Green Bay Road, John Krasnodebski and Chris Boyaris of Landmark Development completely renovated this handsome 1911 home, removing more recent additions which were incompatible with the original design. This was an extensive restoration and renovation project that restored the exterior to its original condition and completely renovated the interior. Current owners are Mr. and Mrs. Gary Rappaport. At 900 North Waukegan Road stand the 1917 gatehouses and coach house designed by David Adler for Elsa and A. Watson Armour. Craig Bergman and Paul Klug have extensively renovated the structures, the courtyard, and the surrounding 2.5 acres. Slate roofs, paneled shutters, 3 hinged wooden motorhouse doors, the original windows, and of course, the gardens were all part of the renovation. Will the recipients of the renovation awards and their architects please step forward? Finally, let's look at a very special renovation. Designed and built by Howard Van Doren Shaw in 1898 as his summer home, Ragdale is a unique example of arts and crafts architecture. The Ragdale Foundation has just completed a comprehensive interior and exterior renovation, including, and it's a long list, the stucco facade, wood trim, wood windows, cedar shingles, porches, structural repairs, a new geothermal system, new electric, plumbing, heating, cooling, and fire protection systems, restoration of plaster, wood paneling, casework, floors, fixtures, wallpapers, and lighting. Clearly, a total renovation of a Lake Forest treasure. We applaud the Ragdale Foundation and their architects, Johnson and Lasky Architects. Susan Tillett, Executive Director of the Ragdale Foundation, is here to accept the award, and she has agreed to tell us just a bit more about the renovation.
Thank you, friends, and I do mean friends. I look out here and I see the faces of people who have been supporting Ragdale and this renovation for, I've been there 12 and a half years, and we've been at it since I arrived. Art Miller is here, the Moores are here. This is an incredible town in which to preserve property. The one remarkable thing about Ragdale is that it's actually owned by the city of Lake Forest. This is your house. It's Howard Van Dorenshaw's house. It is home to artists and writers, 200 a year. But it's also yours. It's a wonderful public-private partnership. And we did this for you. The total cost is $3.2 million. We're down to less than $1 million, so you still have a chance to really feel like it's yours. But we did it for you. I think Howard Van Dorenshaw is incredibly important to the city of Lake Forest and the character of this town. We did it right. We started with an HSR, and Johnson Lasky's done an amazing job, as have our contractors, Bully and Andrews. So I will not accept this award without Jack Danch and Walker Johnson at my side.
Well, I think you'll all agree that preservation is alive and well in Lake Forest, so thanks for coming, and we'll see you all at the reception. Thanks very much.